Cashing out while sitting in court. You could soon earn more money for serving jury duty here in California. And it's proving to be one of the busiest travel weeks that we've seen in a while, and there have already been problems for passengers. You're watching The Rundown. I'm Agent Arambulo, in for Robin Whitson. Now, weather on the East Coast has been causing the delays and cancellations at airports all across the country this week, including LAX. A shortage of air traffic controllers is also contributing to the chaos. Nationwide, more than 2,500 controllers either retired last year or plan to retire this year, according to the Department of Transportation. And AAA says road travel isn't going to get you there any faster.
What people can expect when they're on the roads, whether on the air, whether at the gas station, wherever they are, is a lot of company. We have never had a forecast like this one. It's an all-time record for us.
Now, as always, check with your airline. Leave plenty of extra time if you're heading to the airport this week. Long Beach utility customers could see their bills increase this year. The city's Utilities Commission has approved a 9% increase for water usage. Now, that increase would add up to about $5 for the average single-family household bill. City officials say the higher water rates are necessary to help fund projects that will provide access to cheaper groundwater to residents. But some Long Beach residents say that rate hike would hurt everyday people in the city.
Another 9% is just way too much. It's getting to the point where between all of our utility bills, it's just becoming almost even more unaffordable to live in Long Beach.
City will have a public hearing in August. If a majority of Long Beach Utilities customers say no to the rate increase, the proposal will not move forward. If there's no objection, the new water rate would go into effect in October. Well, every day, thousands of gallons of water are seeping up through a street in Granada Hills. And according to people who live near Joliet Avenue, it happens night and day, nonstop, and it's kind of smelly. We spoke with a woman who's lived up the street for 54 years. She says she's actually seen this happen years ago and that she's worried that the street could give way and form a sinkhole.
Somebody should at least talk to the neighbors and explain what the heck is going on.
City of LA's Public Works Department says the water is coming from an underground spring. Utility crews have tested the water. They say it's not coming from one of their pipes or from someone's home. And the most important part of this, the Bureau of Engineering says there is no immediate danger of this turning into a sinkhole. And this means that people like Susan will just have to wait until that water stops flowing. Hard to believe, but July is almost here and things are heating up. Meteorologist Belen de Leon has a check of your weather.
Hi, everyone. I'm tracking the first heat wave of the season. The temperatures are really going to warm up starting on Friday, and highs will peak over the weekend. Inland and the deserts, temperatures in the 90s and triple digits. And this hot spell is going to increase our fire weather danger and also the risk for heat illness. Our bodies aren't quite ready for this kind of heat. So abruptly, the weather in June has been cool for the most part, but here comes this area of high pressure that's really going to heat us up. Look at the trend in Van Nuys. We've got numbers around 81 for Wednesday. Thursday, that warming trend begins, but here's where you really feel the heat. The highs are going to rise in the 90s on Friday. Hottest day right now looks like Saturday. Sunday, still a toasty day. The heat starts to back off early next week, but you're still going to feel that warm weather for the 4th of July.
And an update on the human remains found near Mount Baldy over the weekend. The coroner confirms they belong to actor Julian Sands. How he died, though, is still under investigation. Sands was known for his roles in A Room with a View, Warlock, Arachnophobia. Search and rescue crews have been combing the remote area near Mount Baldy since January, but there was a lot of snow back when the 65-year-old actor was hiking there and disappeared. And a man from the Bay Area is under arrest. Police say he attacked 2 people at a pizza place in Thousand Oaks with lighter fluid and a large knife. The Ventura County Sheriff's Department identified the man in this surveillance video as Robert Haight, and we spoke with the owner of Allegro Pizza. He tells us that Haight walked in Sunday afternoon, threw some sort of lighter fluid on the chef while he was preparing vegetables before opening.
He threw some fuel, he thought it was water. He thought it was choking. So it was gas. He smelled gasoline and said, oh my gosh. The guy grabbed the knife and I started following him to the kitchen. You know, after my guy see the guy go to the front, he ran to the back and he exited the back door again and he said, help, help.
Now, a customer was outside and he stepped in to help, but not before police say Haight sprayed him with lighter fluid as well. That customer then knocked him out before police arrived to arrest him. Some people on jury duty in LA County could be paid $100 a day, and that is a big jump from the current rate of $15 a day. Lawmakers are considering the pay bump for people who have a low or moderate income. The program is based on one tested in San Francisco, the goal to increase the racial and economic diversity of jury pools. Now, if lawmakers approve the pay raise, it would be available for jurors in LA, Kern, and 3 counties in Northern California. This would be a pilot program that would go through the end of 2025. And despite the recent wave of car thefts targeting Hyundais and Kias, federal officials are not going to recall the vehicles. California Attorney General Rob Bonta was among officials asking for the recall. He argued the cars are vulnerable to theft because they don't have engine immobilizers. But the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said that this does not meet the criteria for a recall. The agency said the issue doesn't constitute either a safety defect or non-compliance. Well, Costco is cracking down on people who are sneaking in to shop using other people's membership cards. The Warehouse Club has always asked shoppers for their cards at the cash registers, and now it's going to require them at self-checkout too. Now, if the membership card doesn't have a photo on it, you'll also have to show a photo ID. Costco says it has noticed more abuse of card sharing ever since it expanded self-checkout to more of its stores. And for the first time in 3 years, the historic San Gabriel Mission will reopen Saturday. The Mission Museum previewed a new exhibit ahead of its reopening. The 250-year-old mission shut down at the start of the pandemic. Then in the summer of 2020, someone deliberately set it on fire. The church has spent the past 3 years repairing that damage.
This is a historic site, the first building in Los Angeles, the first church, and the first museum. So first time the public can visit once again to worship and to learn.
The Missions Museum has 30 original artifacts, including the Wall of Names, a memorial in honor of the Native American community. There is an animal emergency in the Inland Empire. The Inland Valley Animal Shelter is more crowded than it's ever been. NBC4 photojournalist Alex Vasquez shows us what's being done to clear the shelters.
Our shelter has been very impacted. This is the most animals we've seen in a really long time. I would say our current situation is dire, along with other shelters across the United States. We're doing everything we can, and it just feels like it's not enough. Really just looking to our community to help us get out of this crisis that we're currently in. People can do a lot of different things. Even if you can't bring home an animal, you can help spread the word on social media. That's very, very helpful for us. But even if you're only able to open up your home for a few days, fostering is a great way to help us learn even just a little bit about an animal to help them get adopted.
We are waiving fees. We are sending certain pets home with food and supplies.
You know, these animal shelters are getting full, so we need to, give them a lovely home, So that's one of the reasons why I'm out here, to see if I can help out by adopting a dog.
We're literally utilizing spaces that we've never had to utilize before for housing animals when they come in. Our animal receiving area also is a good example. That is literally a holding space for animals when they first come in, but we've actually had to house animals there for a few days just because we have no place for them to go. We can't get through this without your help. We all love animals. Everybody that works here, that volunteers here, we love animals, and we want to be able to get them into their homes, and we cannot do that without your help.
Well, a reminder, our annual Clear the Shelters pet adoption and donation campaign is back this summer for its 9th straight year, and you can find more information at our website, NBCLA.com.
It's me. Hi. I'm the problem, it's me.
Well, Swifties are going to be happy about this. Taylor Swift fans are getting another chance to see her here in LA. The singer is adding a 6th night of shows at her stop at SoFi Stadium in August. Might as well just stay the month, right? The added date is Monday, August 7th. Swift is expected to perform for about 420,000 people during her week-long stay in LA. Well, the contract that Hollywood actors have with TV and movie studios expires at the end of the week, and as negotiations continue, some well-known members of the Actors Union are hoping to take a hard line. Variety is reporting some 400 actors, including some really big names like Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence, sent a letter to SAG-AFTRA leaders saying they are prepared to strike if needed. They said the union leadership should be ready to make sacrifices as well. Many actors' livelihoods are already being impacted. And if no agreement is reached by this Friday, the union leadership has the authorization to call a strike as soon as Saturday. Wheelin' and dealin'. We now know that Ryan Seacrest will take over for Pat Sajak when he steps down as host of Wheel of Fortune. Seacrest signed a multi-year agreement to host starting next year. He says he is truly humbled and that he looks forward to learning everything he can from Pat during this transition. Sajak announced his plans to retire 2 weeks ago. He has hosted the show since 1981. It is the fastest growing game in America, pickleball. It's not only popular, it's actually impacting the insurance industry. UBS analysts say the sport has led to an unexpected rise in hip replacements, knee surgeries, foot injuries. The increase behind the rise in healthcare utilization rates and costs. The collective bill for pickleball injuries this year will total between $250 and $500 million, seniors accounting for most of those doctors' visits and costs. The Women's World Cup is now less than a month away, and Team USA is getting ready to hit the pitch. The team is gathering for training camp at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson this week. Among them, 18-year-old Angel City star Alyssa Thompson, who officially made the roster last week, and she's joining other big names like Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. This summer's Women's World Cup will be the largest in history with 32 teams and 64 games.
I'm super happy that I have it, that people get to look up to me, and little girls that look like me, that have a dream like me, know that it can happen and it can come true, so it's really nice.
The Women's World Cup starts July 20th in New Zealand and Australia, and the final is August 20th. And patience really paid off for a passenger who had to wait 18 hours in an airport because his flight kept getting delayed over and over, and as reward, he ended up with the entire plane all to himself.
They pulled them from the hotel to come do this flight for just one person.
Phil Stringer shared his unique experience in a TikTok that's already been seen more than 3 million times. He said he felt bad for the crew that was called in just to staff his flight, but they turned it into a great time. The crew let him sit in first class. They served him whatever food or drink he wanted. Stringer says that whenever the crew had to do a mandatory announcement, they would personalize it for him as well. You can always get news and weather updates on the NBCLA app and our website, NBCLA.com. And be sure to tune in to Today in LA on NBC4 weekdays from 4 to 7 a.m. That's where we bring you all the day's headlines. We'll see you next time right here on The Rundown.